All right, so for today's lesson, we are going to finish up the second portion of SOL 8.1 A.B. We're going to look at part B, which is evaluating expressions. So the vocabulary that goes along with that is evaluate, order of operation, absolute value, real numbers, integer, consecutive integer, and simplest form. All right, looking at the essential questions you should be able to answer by the end of this lesson. For part B, how can you represent practical situations with algebraic expressions in a variety of ways? How is finding the square root of a whole number different from finding the square root of an algebraic expression? How are they the same? What is the relationship between perfect squares, square roots, perfect cubes, and cube roots? All right, so by the end of this lesson, I can evaluate expressions using algebra tiles. I can evaluate algebraic expressions using order of operations, including absolute value, square roots, and cube roots for given replacement values. All right, so just a little quick review of GEMDAS. So remember that GEMDAS is grouping, symbols. So remember GEMDAS is our order of operations. So I'll put a little note there. All right, so our grouping symbols can include parentheses, brackets. We know that square root symbols are also considered a grouping symbol and absolute value symbols. So those represent absolute value. All right, my E stands for exponents. My M stands for multiplication. So remember multiplication and division go from left to right. So whichever one goes first or comes first, looking left to right. And then we have addition and subtraction. So again, those two are left to right as well. All right, so we're going to use these when we complete our replacement values. So remember, we have replacement values. We're given a value for numbers, and we're just plugging those in to the expression and evaluating this expression using order of operations. So let's take a look at some examples. All right, so the first one we're going to look at is number 1, and that is telling us 4 minus 2 to the power of x, where x is equal to 3. So what I'm simply going to do is rewrite my expression, but I'm going to replace my x with 3. All right, so remember GEMDAS tells me I do grouping symbols. I don't have any grouping symbols here. So the next step is exponents. So I have 2 raised to the power of 3. So remember, raising a number to a power is multiplying by itself that many times. So I get 4 minus 8, which gives me a negative 4. All right. Number 2, instead of 1 replacement value, we now have 2. So we're going to evaluate this expression when A equals negative 1 and B equals negative 8. All right. So we have negative 1 plus the square root of negative 2 times negative 8. All right, so remember, square roots are considered grouping symbols, so we're going to take care of what's underneath my radical. So my negative 1 is going to stay the same. I have negative 2 times negative 8, which gives me the square root of 16. I'm going to take the square root of 16, which is 4. Negative 1 plus 4 gives me a positive 3. All right, so for number 3, again, I have 2 replacement values. I have 1/5 times. So for x, I'm going to plug in 7. And for y, I'm going to plug in 6 or replace with 6. So I'm going to have 7 squared minus the cube root of 64. All right. So I have 1/5 going to take care of what's in parentheses. So I have 7 squared, which is 49, minus, so the cube root of 64. So I'm looking for that number when I multiply by itself 3 times, I get 64, which is going to give me 4. I have 1/5. 49 minus 4 gives me 45. And then I have 1/5 of 45, which is equal to 9. So that's like taking 45 and dividing it by 5. For number 4, I have t squared minus t minus 6, where t is equal to 3/4. So I'm going to have 3/4 squared minus 3/4 minus 6. All right, so remember when you multiply fractions, you multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So I get 9/16 minus 3/4 minus 6. All right, here's where we have to do a little bit of legwork. So remember, anytime we add or subtract fractions, we have to have common denominators, all right? So what we mean by common denominators, they each need to have the same denominator, or you could easily plug it into Desmos. It is your choice. So looking at it with common denominators, I'm just going to do a little bit of work up here. We see that I have the denominator of 16, so I'm going to make 3/4 and -6 have a common denominator of 16. So in order for that to happen, I'm going to multiply this fraction by 4/4. So that gives me 12/16. Remember, I can make 6 a fraction by putting it over 1. So I'm going to multiply this by 16. So I have 16 times 6, which is going to give me 96/16. So now I can simplify this fraction. So I have 9/16 minus 12/16, which replaces my 3/4, minus 96/16. So my fraction is going to stay over 16, so I'm going to do 9 minus 12 minus 96, which gives me 75/16, which you could leave as a fraction, or if you would like, you can make it a decimal. So again, if you use Desmos, 9 times out of 10, it gave you a decimal, which is completely fine. Just make sure that you pay attention to on assessments, whether it's asking you to keep it in fraction form or convert to a decimal. All right. So for the next example, looking at number 5, we have 3a squared minus a cubed divided by the absolute value of 2a. So now that we're in algebra, we start to see fraction bars. Fraction bars are going to represent division. So the expression in my numerator is being divided by the expression in my denominator. So I'm going to have 3 times -2 squared minus -2 cubed all over the absolute value of 2 times -2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify my numerator by dealing with my exponents. So I have 3, -2 squared gives me 4, minus -2 cubed gives me a -8, because that's -2 times -2 times -2, which gives me a -8. And then I have the absolute value of -4. 3 times 4 gives me 12. I'm going to get a +8 because I have a negative minus a negative. So that right there turns into a plus right here. The absolute value of -4 is 4, because remember, absolute value tells you how far a number is from 0. I have 12 plus 8, which gives me 20. 20 divided by 4 is 5. All right, let's take a look at example 6. All right, so we have fraction bars within the absolute value. So I have the cube root of a plus b divided by c squared. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. So I have the cube root. A is going to be 27 plus 29 divided by c to the -4. So we're going to take the cube root of 27, which is 3, plus 29. And instead of that saying c squared, that should say -4 squared. So we have that negative 4 squared. That's negative 4 times negative 4, which is going to give me a positive 16. Then we have 29 plus, 3 plus 29. Same difference. Or we can say 29 plus 3, commutative property. So that gives me 32 over 16. Remember, got to keep the absolute value bars. And we get the answer is 2. All right, now we're going to look at this challenge problem. So I want you to take a second to pause the video and I want you to try this challenge problem here. This here is a formula that you will see later on in the year, towards the end of the year when we work with quadratics, and you will definitely see it again when you get to Algebra 2. All right, now that you've finished the challenge problem, we are going to go over the challenge problem in class before starting our classwork activity on tomorrow. But now I want you to summarize what you've learned in the lesson, especially highlighting some of those key essential questions from the lesson.